All right, it's time to talk about Concord again. I know I've done a lot of videos on Concord, but this one's going to be a little different because we have officially gotten a release, and we've got numbers, we've got reviews, and it's a lot of interesting things to get into. So let's just take a look here and start with the Steam page because that's where I like to start sometimes. Mostly positive reviews. 71% of the 412 user reviews for this game are positive, and that is interesting because 412 user reviews. We'll get into that in a minute, but let's just take a look at this and see what's going on here. Now, like I said, it was not a well received game. It did not do terribly well as far as player numbers are concerned. So it's very fishy about this whole situation, and especially with all these positive reviews coming through. But even if you go and look at over 10 hours, there's very few people that have played it more than 10 hours. But 88% of the 43 user reviews for this game are positive. So 43 players played it for more than 10 hours. 88% of them gave it a positive review. Now, let's not attribute this to malice just yet. I mean, it could just be that the situation worked out in such a way that the few people that actually were interested in this game that didn't get turned off by the trailers and by the gameplay videos and all the stuff there, as well as the open beta, people that didn't get turned off by that continued on and bought the game and gave it favorable reviews. That could be the case. That is very probable, and especially these 43, if they played it for more than 10 hours with the few days that it's been out, I could see that being plausible at least. I could also see this being plausible as being some shenanigans going on, because it was not well received. It was not highly talked about on social media or in general parlance. But yet you see these very high reviews, and there are some very interesting negative reviews. Like recently posted negative review related to performance. Your PC struggles to keep up if you're lucky enough not to crash. You'll constantly freeze for 1 to 3 seconds during gunfights. Another negative review for servers. People are having trouble finding matches and syncing up with servers, and some of those matches are being set up in situations where the players are way across the globe from each other, and the lag is unbelievable. Here's another one. Do not buy this game until they fix it, even though it's not worth $40 in its current state. The main issue with this game right now is the performance. If you're lucky enough to get past the PSN login pop-up, then you will be gifted non-stop lag spikes, and your computer will feel like it's on its last leg. Turn a corner and see an enemy, game freeze, unfreeze, and you're dead. If you're lucky, it will only freeze for a second and you somehow survived. There's times it will freeze for 3 seconds, so there's a lot of lag, a lot of freezing, a lot of locking up. Honestly, I'm not sure who this product is meant for. It seems the developers were inspired by games like Overwatch and Destiny, but it doesn't quite capture the essence of either. It feels like a mix that doesn't come together well. Character balance is a significant issue. It's way off. For example, why would anyone choose De Veers when Hamar is clearly superior? So I guess they don't have good character balance either. I managed to complete all the Steam achievements within 24 hours, except for those requiring extensive time to level up each character to 10. So I feel like I have a good grasp of the game. However, an achievement requires playing with a friend is almost impossible because, frankly, why would I suggest Concord to them? So a lot of negatives in here too. Good mix of positives and negatives in the results on here, but there's a vast majority are positive. Here's a recommended. It's not a bad game. It being more of a shooter is what makes it stand out for me. It's not trying to be Overwatch, nor does it play like it. It plays more like a slower Destiny PvP experience if it didn't require a grind or were more team-oriented. So comparing it to Destiny, and that's not the only one that I've seen comparing it to Destiny. Here's another one comparing it to Destiny. Plays like Destiny with a small amount of Quake. Awesome shooter, reminds me of the classic arena shooters like Quake and Unreal, but with added bonus of really tight and distinct character kits. The map design is killer with tons of verticality and engagement areas that make you position yourself to the strengths of your character. Looking forward to the future of this game, which there is not likely to be a feature to this game, and we'll get into that in a minute. TLDR, very fun, if not very innovative PvP shooter with a strong foundation. Whether it is able to grow into something special remains to be seen. If you're a fan of Destiny PvP but don't have the time interest of grinding, so another comparison to Destiny. Lots of Destiny DNA, so on and so forth. This game is a blast to play. Can't find many shooters that aren't trying to nickel and dime you at every turn. Maps are well thought out Every character feels unique and play to different one another, and play different to one another. It's a mixture of so many shooters all in one, but adding its own flair, like being able to mix and match different character attributes by playing them in reach match. So interesting comparisons to Destiny there, and that actually kind of it kind of lends itself to a positive review, because if there's a bunch of people from Destiny coming over here and playing this and saying, hey, it's like Destiny but without the grind, then that would make sense that you're getting those positive reviews from those players. I guess the reviews are going to be something over time to see, because as you get more people playing over 10 hours, that'll give you a better idea of what's going on. Like I said, only a handful of people have played it more than 10 hours, which tells me that a large number of people that have played this game have not played it, or like played it and reviewed it, have not played it more than one or 2 days. Now it's only really been out for 4, but they kind of played it and dropped it. It seems to be the likely scenario. It's just a thought on my case, and could just be a matter of work schedules interfering with that game time. So like I said, we're going to have to see where that goes. But going to the numbers and going to some of the shenanigans that I think might be happening here, keep in mind that 412 user review scores, 412 reviews, and we'll look at the player counts here. And the player counts, it peaked at 697. So 2/3, 3/4 of the players that played this game gave it a review on Steam. Now, that seems very suspicious to me, because you rarely ever have people reviewing to that rate. You rarely even get 10% of the people to review your game. Even AAA struggles with that. So to see it happen like that, that's strange. And I think that is shenanigans. I think that Sony is probably having, like the meme is going around that Sony's paying their developers to play this game and bring the numbers up. So they're probably having them do Steam reviews as well, just to get those Steam reviews out there. Wouldn't surprise me in the least, and that would be kind of funny to see that, to have that come to light someday. Obviously, that's just speculation, but it's fun to think about, and especially given 412 out of the 697 people that have ever played this game, that the peak have reviewed the game. Now that could be this could be a different 473 people to the 697, and this could be a different 402 people to those two, and this could be a different 276 to those three. But it's doubtful. It's likely that this is maybe 1,200 people to 1,500 people max. So yeah, that's still a massive number. I mean, that's a third to half of your player base has reviewed your game, and the vast majority of them gave it a positive review. So I think that's fishy. I think this number is fishy, just on the face of that. But that's just me. And talking about the numbers, just in general, 697 peak users, with it continuing to decline day after day after day. I mean, it's going to be even lower today than it has been before. It's just not a good sign. I mean, this is the death knell of a game 4 days into launch. 276 24-hour peak right now out of the 697 peak. It's not going up. Even if it did, it would have to go up massively. It would have to more than 10x to be viable, in my opinion. I think 7,000 players peak would be acceptable. That would be something that they could continue on with. Maybe do seasons and DLC or what have you, or whatever they're trying to do with this. That would make them enough money to substantiate continuing on with this game and continuing to run the servers and maintain this thing well into the future. But 700 players down to under 300, they're not going to maintain this system for that. I think that you're looking at Sony shutting down Firewalk Studios from this launch. It's the most likely outcome, in my opinion, is that they're going to get shut down, just based on the fact that everybody else has been getting shut down. I mean, it's nothing against Firewalk Studios, but you underperform in this day and age, your studio is going to get shut down, just like every other studio, or massive cuts. So yeah, there we are. There you have it. And also to compare this against the beta program had a max of 2,400 players. So that was the free open beta. Anybody could have joined that, and they still couldn't get more than 2,500 players. And then that translated down to under 700 in launch. So yeah, they're done. They're cooked. This is game over for Concord without a doubt. And no matter how much fishy action, if this is fishy action, that they can do is going to save it at this point. I mean, if they are making their developers play it, then this 697 is probably more like 200. So, you know, the only people playing Concord are Sony developers, I guess. I guess that's where we're at. So, yeah, thanks, Sony. Anyway, that's what I got for you guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you like these kind of videos, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk to you later.